Hello everyone, I want to give you guys more of an in-depth look of how I have to overcome certain obstacles when it comes to the unique geometry of various disc detainer padlocks using my newly invented disc detainer jig for the silver bullet. You'll quickly notice here that this lock has some unique geometry which makes vicing awkward, and it's clear that there's two flat spots on each side. In order to make it work, I had to use some machinist parallel plates. Now, I did not buy these plates with the intention of using for this tool, and it just so happened to solve the problem. Not every tool that we invent is perfect, and we later discover there's always these little problems. One might ask again, why I invented this tool? Well, one, it has some safety advantages. The silver bullet is so expensive. And you'll notice quickly on the ground, I have a pillow just in case I drop it. Also, this cradle that's made from a welder's depth gauge allows me to keep the tool perfectly parallel with the core, as I described in my previous video. I'm enabled to put pressure on the actual pick itself to really torque the disc into their gates against the fencing bar, and that's a little technique that I learned, and it works quite well. I'm not going to pick this lock because it's somewhat academic. I will tell you that I like to use this multi-pick Z-bar dimple wrench to rotate all the discs 90 degrees. It's very clean, and you can kind of see how this tool goes into place using the cradle here to hold it and just drive everything to the back. Yeah, I've already picked this lock twice off camera, and it's very forgiving. It turns out that the key only has like 2 or 3 cuts on it. Most of them are 90 degree or no cut disc. Now you'll notice that when you approach various disc detainer locks, unless you've talked to somebody or actually have first-hand experience, you don't necessarily know if these locks are front tensioning or rear tensioning. Well, it turns out these locks are consistently rear tensioned with a random front tensioning disc. The only real advantage to front tensioning is if you happen to get lucky and the lock does open using the different type of tensioner that these silver bullet tools do offer, you're able to remove the pick. Whereas when you rear tension a lock, removing the pick seems very difficult, and I don't think I could even get it out. In any case, the intention of this tool is really not just as a pick, but it's a decoder. And this brand of lock, you can't even take the core apart. There's a little round ring that goes around the core retainer plug, and that's pressured in place. These are cheap locks, but believe it or not, the core is pretty decent. I would call it mid-range. The discs have no false gates on them, but it's really a pleasure to use this tool. Like I said, if I want to walk away and get tired and have to answer the phone, this thing safely holds the tool in place. I see a lot of guys doing videos, and my first instinct and main reason for doing this video or making this tool was, my goodness, I'm worried about snapping the tool in place or breaking it off. And it seems like if you're going to pay that kind of money, why not have something that acts as a safety net? In addition to that, this is very logical. It keeps everything in a nice axial plane with the core, and that has some huge advantages. To have to hold everything in one hand at a certain angle, and that's another reason why I think people say that they're getting a lot of grindiness when they turn their tool. Well, that grindiness is because they're tensioning or torquing the tension tip or picking tip up against the disc. That's what I've discovered anyway. But this really helps facilitate the picking, and I really like it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and leave them in.